In this video, I'm going to be giving you an update of all the apprenticeships that are going to be closing their applications in November. So this is part of a series that I'm going to do every month, an update on the apprenticeship application process. And this means you're going to know exactly when companies open and close your applications so that you don't miss out on the companies that you want to apply for a degree apprenticeship with. In this first episode, this is the November update, so we're going to go through everything that is closing in November so you can make sure you get in. Now, November is actually quite sparse. There's only a few companies I'm going to go through today because most apprenticeship companies, they use the window between December and January to have their apprenticeship applications. So I would definitely recommend that you come back in a month or so time and also watch the December, January and February updates because they are going to include a lot more companies. However, although November doesn't have too many apprenticeship opportunities, we do have a few good ones which are going in early and you want to make sure you get into before we get to December. Now I want to make this November update on apprenticeships as accessible as I can for everyone. So you're currently watching it as a YouTube video. However, if you prefer to get a document and read it along in your own time, then press the first link in the description and that will take you to the full document with everything I go through, and then you can read that in your own time. However, if you prefer to watch the video or maybe leave it on another tab listening while you're doing something else, then feel free to do that and you can watch the video. But if you are interested in using the document, click down on the first link in the description. Now, the first company that are closing their apprenticeship applications is AWE, Atomic Weapons Establishment, and they are a part of the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, and they supply military and defence technology for the UK. So as I say, AWE are a military company and they actually focus on nuclear missiles. So the first apprenticeship programme to think about is the nuclear programme. And the degree you'll actually be studying is either electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, and that will depend on which team you're in. There are also other apprenticeship pathways. There's also manufacturing and project management. Although AWE is an military engineering company, they also have apprenticeships which are more tailored to the construction industry, which you can see in purple. And that is the Building Services Apprenticeship and the Design and Construction Management Apprenticeship. So the Building Services one, that's to do with buildings with lighting, fire and ventilation, that sort of thing. And then the Design and Construction Management one is to do with infrastructure and working with architects and architecture and that sort of thing. So that's one thing you need to bear in mind when I go through this table today in this video and in future videos, is that although I have the column for industry, which is the main industry, engineering, which goes into the nuclear and the mechanical and the electric, they also have sort of subsections that they also do. For example, building services, which is more of a construction sort of thing. So you don't need to be restricted by that industry because companies often have a wide range of apprenticeship opportunities that aren't just restricted to the main thing they do. So that's something to bear in mind. Just because a company maybe is a construction company doesn't mean they're not going to have a DTS one or a finance apprenticeship, if you see what I mean. So the location for this apprenticeship is in Reading and it closes on the 29th of October, so I recommend you get in quickly. Now we're going to move on to the next one, which is Mace, and they are a construction company and they are offering apprenticeships in building surveying, project management and quantity surveying. They have a range of locations including Bristol, Leeds and London, and their applications close on the 31st of October, so I'd recommend you get into that quickly. Now the next company is Kinetec, and this is the second one of the defence companies. And whereas AWE, that was part of the MOD, that was a government sort of role, this one's actually a multinational company, so you'll be working on projects that will be used by militaries across the world. Now the first pathway you can go down for this one is the Aerospace Apprenticeship, and in this one you will study a degree of either aerospace engineering, electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, and that depends on which team you are allocated. But that's the first path. The next one is DTS. So as I mentioned, just because a company does engineering doesn't mean they don't do other roles. So this one does engineering, but it also has a DTS role. If you don't know, DTS is your software engineering, so your computer science or that sort of thing. That's what the apprenticeships are. So if you're interested in computing and software engineering and programming and all that sort of thing, you're looking for a DTS apprenticeship, digital and technology solutions. Finally, they have a project management apprenticeship as well. And these locations are at Boscombe Down, Malvern and Portsmouth. Again, this is a very early application date of 3rd of November, so you want to make sure you get in as soon as possible for that one. Now let's move on to the last two. If you're interested in banking and finance, then I recommend you keep watching. So the first one is Ernst & Young, and they have a broad range of apprenticeships. Let me just read them out for you. So there's assurance, business leadership and management, DTS, tax, and turnaround and restructuring strategy. So I recommend going, having a look at each one, reading about the differences between what the role is, what market you'd be working in, and decide which one of those would be best for you. The locations are all across the UK, so I'm sure you can find something close to you if you wanted to. So Bristol, Manchester, London, Aberdeen, Edinburgh, they're absolutely everywhere. And these applications close on the 30th of November, so you've got a bit more time than the previous few, which were at the very start of November. This one's at the end. But as I say always with apprenticeships, don't leave it to the last day to apply. I would recommend trying to apply in mid-November, because you never know, roles and locations might start closing if they get full of applications. But you do have until 30th of November for the Ernst & Young application. And now the last one is JP Morgan, again in the finance sector. So if you're interested in banking and finance, then this is an apprenticeship that you might want to look at. The range of apprenticeships isn't quite as broad as Ernst & Young. Again, they have DTS. But their only finance one they call financial services. It doesn't have all the subcategories that the other one had. According to JP Morgan, there should be apprenticeships at 2 locations, Bournemouth and London, with application closing dates of the 4th of December and the 30th of November respectively. However, at the moment, their application to their London site isn't available anywhere. So either all the applications have come in as full, which I doubt, or more likely they seem to be having a technical problem with putting the London one out. So as of the time of recording, the only one you can currently apply for is the Bournemouth location. However, hopefully in the next few weeks they will put the London location onto the application system. And if there are any changes or updates on this and they do eventually release the London application, then I'll put this in the pinned comment down below. So check the pinned comment if you're watching this a bit later, and that will explain if they've now fixed this and now the London location is available. But at the moment it is just the Bournemouth location available. So there's 5 companies that will have closed their apprenticeship applications by the end of November. That is a very early closing date because a lot of them close in January. But these ones are obviously trying to get in early and get their application process sorted as soon as possible. So if you're interested in banking, I would definitely recommend Ernst & Young and JP Morgan. And then also if you're interested in engineering, we have those 2 defence ones, AWE and Kinetech. And then finally, if you're interested in construction, civil engineering, building services, surveying, that sort of thing, then we have Mace. So once again, if you want this all in document form, check the first link in the description. And I'm going to be doing updates like this every month. The December, January and February ones, they're going to be a lot more in-depth with a lot more companies, because that is when the companies really start opening their applications and pressuring people to get them in. So recommend checking those out in the next few months as I put those out. And on top of this, I'm also going to be doing updates each month for work experience opportunities. So if maybe you don't have enough work experience for your CV, or you don't have enough examples to use in an interview, then I definitely recommend checking those updates each month, because it will give you an easy list of which work experiences are relevant to you. All you have to do is click on the link and apply, and then hopefully you should get that work experience and be able to put that on your CV, put that on your interviews, and help you get the apprenticeship. So if you're interested in that, then click in the top right to find out more about those work experience updates. Now, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful with what you can apply for in November, and stay tuned to the channel for more videos like these. Thanks very much.